Hi, and thanks for watching. This is Linda Bartolucci with InkStampandScrap.com, and today what I wanted to show you is the pattern for making this twisted card. This time when I made the twisted card, I closed it off here, put some ribbon on the inside to give it a nice little ruffled edge, and then when you open it up, there is the potential for a gift card inside. This could be a vendor's or a merchant's gift card, or something from me, or just a little signed card as a gift to somebody. But what I want to show you in this video is how to put this card together. I'm going to use white cardstock and crumb cake cardstock so that you can see how the pattern goes together, and then do this with whatever supplies you would like to. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a 8.5 by 11 piece of white cardstock. I'm going to cut it in half at the 4 1/4 mark to give me a hot dog cut. Then I'm going to take that hot dog cut piece of cardstock and I'm going to use my Simply Scored to score it straight down the diagonal. Now I don't think you can see on camera all the way, I'm sure, down here, but what I've done is I've taken my white gel pen and at the 5.5 inch mark, because that was just arbitrary for me, I could have done 6, which is the middle of the Simply Scored, I used my white gel pen and I added a white mark all the way down the center mark there at 5.5 so that I can line up the two corners and get a perfect diagonal. It's great for a long piece of cardstock like this, and I use it for scoring things down the center, like when I made the holiday ornament. You just want to make sure that you get it perfectly lined up there, and usually starting it is easier to go up and then come down. Otherwise, you tend to ruffle up the top edge, and you don't want to do that. So I've got my score down the middle. I'm going to fold that in half, and then I'm going to make my other score, which is at 5 7/8, and that gives me the midpoint to actually create the card. I'm going to do that twice just to make sure it's a good score. And then I can move this aside. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to make sure that all the lines are creased really well. So 1, 2, I'm going to make sure I fold my card because I want this front pocket. You can play with this. I mean, you can have the pockets in the back. You can not have a pocket in the front and see what that looks like. It's totally up to you, but generally speaking, you put a pocket in the front and a pocket on the right side of the inside. So you just want to make sure your corners are lined up nice, and then you run the bone folder down to make sure all the creases are done. Now what you'll see is it doesn't fold absolutely perfect. Just like making a stationery holder, there's just too much bulk here. So now what I'm going to do is just take my paper snips and I'm going to cut a little V, very little V, out in the center so that this will lay nice and flat. So just a little bit to each side of the score, and it'll make it so it lays nice and flat. Now, since I'm just making a pattern for you, I'm not going to use any adhesive, but this is where your adhesive is going to come in to make it nice and strong. So now you can see that when I fold it up, it's a nice flat fold and it'll be easy to put in a card. But what I also want to show you is what the size is for a layer here and what the size is for a layer here. And that's where the crumb cake cardstock is going to come in. So to make the outside layers, I'm going to use just a scrap of crumb cake cardstock. It happens to measure 5.5 by 8.5, which is plenty for the two things that I need to make. So I need one piece of scrap that is 5.5 by 2. So I'm just going to cut that, and that is going to become the outside triangle. And in order to make it a triangle, I'm going to line up the corners of that 5.5 by 2 in the cutting well of my trimmer. And I'm just going to, oops, it moved over. There we go. I'm going to make myself a triangle, and that's going to go on the front. And then I'm going to cut a piece that is 4.5 by 4 1/8. 4.5 by 4 1/8. And that's going to become the insert for this part right here. But it's a triangle, so what I need to do is, this is the 4.5, this is the longer line, this is the shorter line, but I need to be able to tuck it in. So just a little bit over, somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and an inch, and this point up here, you want to line up in your cutter and make yourself not a perfect triangle. It's the best way to describe it. That is not a perfect triangle. But you'll see when I bring my card back in that these work perfectly. So now I can add this layer right here. There we go. And I can tuck this layer just, I'll move that aside. I can tuck this layer just underneath like so, and the point goes right there, so it makes a perfect layer. And then when I finish decorating the front of the card, I can go ahead and add a gift card, and you can also use these measurements on the inside pocket if you'd like to as well. And the last thing I want to show you is that when you finish the card, I'm going to take these off so they don't flap around. It does fit inside our standard size envelopes, so you can send it off to anybody that you'd like to. You need to send it at a little bit of an angle, but it does fit in, and that means that you can use regular postage to send this cute twisted card once you decorate it really nice, maybe something like that. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.
If you wanna play, make it a brighter place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the lines.